When the CEO brought his white moonlight home, I LED all the villa staff to line up at the entrance to welcome them. The white moonlight saw me and immediately cried to the CEO, "Who is this woman? Are you keeping a mistress at home?" I introduced myself. "I'm the CEO's house manager." The white moonlight didn't believe me and threatened to fire me. "Pack your things and get out." I smiled slightly. Illegal termination requires double severance pay. I stood out among all the applicants. Bought the $1 million annual salary. House manager position for CEO David Wilson. I had graduated from a top university with a degree in finance and economics. But after my parents passed away, I needed to pay off their medical bills. The house manager position offered the highest salary, so I took it. I worked diligently every day, occasionally copying David's stock picks. Made some small profits. In less than 3 years, I had enough money in my account for financial freedom. David had a white moonlight named Monica studying abroad. He flew to see her every month. I carefully prepared all the gifts he brought. I followed all of David's white moonlight social media accounts, like analyzing a report. I studied her thoroughly. Recently, I discovered David's white moonlight seemed off. She appeared obsessed with reading CEO romance novels. To make David more like a domineering CEO, I started infiltrating from all angles. The moment David came home from work, I immediately grabbed another manager and said tearfully to David, "CEO, you haven't smiled in so long." After hearing this, David's mouth twitched. "I was just smiling earlier." I said, "Oh," feeling it was indeed forced. I stepped forward to take David's windbreaker. Then I shook my head disapprovingly. "Mr. Wilson, why aren't you wearing the suit I prepared? That's what successful people wear." David was walking to the living room for water, turning back to look at me strangely. Why would I wear a suit to play ball? I scratched my head, feeling David wasn't following the script. David suddenly remembered something. "Monica comes back tomorrow night. Have the chef prepare extra dishes." My eyes lit up. This woman I'd only seen on social media. The legendary CEO's white moonlight. Finally returning home. I mysteriously ran to David's side, looking around, covering my mouth with my palm, whispering, "Mr. Wilson, your white moonlight is coming back. Do you have any substitute? It's around that need me too." I closed my mouth and made a throat-slitting gesture. David suddenly sighed. "Manager Wong, I hope you read more books daily. Instead of those useless, domineering CEO novels. Where would I get substitutes? I'm exhausted lately. Meetings all day. Don't know where all these meetings come from." I looked embarrassed. "Aren't you the CEO? Can't you just not have meetings?" David looked at me with deep eyes. "But they insist on meetings hours at a time. I think I'm getting a herniated disc." I immediately understood. "Go shower first. I'll call a massage therapist." David smiled like I was teachable. He turned and went upstairs, watching his figure disappear at the stairs. I picked up my walkie-talkie. "Calling sound level 1 alert, CEO's white moonlight returns tomorrow. Copy, please respond." Over. Crackling sounds came from beside me. Then I heard Manager Smith's honest voice mixed with static. "Copy. Copy." I turned to Manager Smith, rolling my eyes helplessly. "We're less than 3 meters apart. Can we not use walkie-talkies?" Manager Smith looked at me hurt. "Didn't you say copy, please respond?" I was speechless, then cleared my throat. Arranged a series of welcome plans. That evening, when David brought Monica home, I LED all the villa staff information at the entrance. "Welcome. Welcome. Warm welcome. Welcome, Mrs. Theo home." Loud voices, unified tone. I secretly nodded, gave myself a thumbs up. My training was clearly effective. After David entered, seeing the banners hung in the living room, a house full of flowers and balloons, he paused for a second. His gaze turned to me meaningfully. Monica followed his gaze, immediately spotted me. Someone who could be a white moonlight was indeed extraordinary. Monica's eyes reddened in 3 seconds, and big tears started flowing. She pointed at me hoarsely, telling the CEO, "Who is this flirt? Are you keeping a mistress at home? Before David could introduce me, having recently studied CEO novels, I immediately stepped forward to clear up the misunderstanding. I'm the CEO's house manager. At your service. Monica rolled her eyes, clearly not believing me. Threatening to fire me? A manager this young? Stop lying. David seemed surprised by Monica's misunderstanding. He opened his mouth to explain. Manager Wong is indeed the manager I hired. Monica looked at David like he betrayed her, then turned to me. Pack your things and get out. I smiled slightly, professionally, showing 8 teeth. Illegal termination requires double severance pay. Monica frowned slightly. Double? You actually want double? How dare you want my double? She turned and pounded David's bosom with small fists. I'm pitifully. You actually gave our double to this flirt? The novels were right, you see. Oh, men are all players. I'm only abroad 3 years. And you found my replacement. Crying more, Monica turned back to look at me through tears, instantly crying louder. How does she look like me at all? How could you do this to me? You're so heartless, so cold. Only seeing new love smile. Not seeing. Monica got stuck. I helpfully stepped forward to finish, not hearing old love's cry. Monica's eyes wide, glaring at me hatefully. Mind your own business. You want me to end? Dream on. I rubbed my nose. Illegal termination. I want to end. That's according to labor law. David sighed deeply beside us. You're talking about different things. Monica immediately turned to stare at David. You're saying I'm not a thing? You're so mean, so heartless. So. Seeing Monica stuck again. This time I learned my lesson and absolutely wouldn't say another word. Monica suddenly looked at me pitifully. Why aren't you finishing my sentence? I said, oh. Understanding, and continued. What a heartbreak. Monica nodded satisfactorily. David rubbed his temples. Manager Wong. Is dinner ready? I immediately clapped King into the walkie-talkie. Serve the food. Serve the food. I turned to arrange dinner. Behind me, Monica was still asking David pitifully. Why do I have to give double to this woman for firing her? David chuckled. Her double means double salary. Not our romantic double. Hearing their conversation ahead, I slipped and nearly fell. This CEO's white moonlight was legally illiterate. Sitting at the dinner table, Monica suddenly stood up, using chopsticks to turn over every dish inside and out. David picked up his bowl and moved back, signaling me with his eyes. I nodded immediately, understanding. Stepped forward to hold Monica down. Miss Monica, is the food too hot? Monica had a mysterious expression. Tell me, where did you hide it? In these dishes? You want to poison me? I looked at David, completely confused. David put down his chopsticks, his expression helpless. Monica, Manager Wong knows you're allergic to seafood. Why would she make seafood? Monica glared at me suspiciously. Then why did she turn over every dish? She's clearly hiding something. I hurriedly explained. Miss Monica, I was just checking if the food was fresh. Monica snorted. Checking freshness? You're obviously looking for the seafood you hid. I looked at David helplessly. David sighed. Monica, Manager Wong prepared all your favorite dishes. Beef, chicken, vegetables. No seafood at all. Monica froze. No seafood? But the novels say. She stopped mid-sentence, her face turning red. David raised an eyebrow. What do novels say? Monica lowered her head, muttering. Novels say CEOs always feed their white moonlight seafood to show their love. David and I exchanged glances. I almost laughed out loud. This white moonlight was really something. David cleared his throat. Monica, Manager Wong is allergic to seafood too. If there was seafood, she'd be the first to react. Monica looked up in surprise. You're allergic too? I nodded professionally. Yes, Miss Monica. That's why I never prepare seafood. Monica's face turned redder. She sat back down, embarrassed. I was just testing you. David and I both knew she was lying, but we didn't expose her. The dinner continued in awkward silence. I stood by the side, watching them eat. Monica kept glancing at me suspiciously. David seemed used to her behavior. After dinner, Monica suddenly spoke. Manager Wong, prepare my room. I want to take a shower. I nodded immediately. Yes, Miss Monica. I led Monica to the guest room. Monica looked around, frowning. Why is this room so far from David's? I explained professionally. This is the guest room, Miss Monica. Monica's eyes widened. Guest room? I'm not a guest. I'm David's white moonlight. I should sleep in the master bedroom. I smiled professionally. I'm sorry, Miss Monica, but the master bedroom is currently occupied by Mr. Wilson. Monica's face turned pale. Occupied? By whom? I said, realizing my mistake. By Mr. Wilson himself, of course. Monica breathed a sigh of relief. That's good, I thought. She didn't finish her sentence. I didn't ask what she was thinking. After Monica showered, she came downstairs. David was in the living room, working on his laptop. Monica sat next to him, leaning on his shoulder. David didn't react, continuing to type. I stood by the side, watching this scene. According to CEO novels, this was the moment when the CEO should push his white moonlight away and say something cold and domineering. But David just kept typing. Monica seemed disappointed. She nudged David. David, aren't you going to hug me? David looked up from his laptop. Hug you? I'm working, Monica. Monica pouted. But the novels say. David sighed. What do novels say this time? Monica said, CEOs always hug their white moonlight when they come home. David looked at me helplessly. I looked back at him innocently. I didn't teach her this. David rubbed his temples. Monica, I'm a real CEO, not a novel character. I have work to do. Monica's eyes filled with tears. So you don't love me anymore? I'm only abroad for 3 years. And you've changed. David put down his laptop, looking tired. Monica, I haven't changed. I'm just busy. Monica stood up, crying. You're always busy. Busy with meetings, busy with work. You don't have time for me. I stood by the side, watching this drama unfold. According to my research, this was the perfect opportunity for David to show his domineering CEO side. He should grab Monica's wrist, pull her into his arms, and say something like, "Woman, don't test my patience." But David just sat there, looking exhausted. I decided to help. I walked over to David, whispering, Mr. Wilson, according to the script, you should grab her wrist now. David looked at me strangely. What script? I said, realizing my mistake. I mean, according to CEO novels. David sighed. Manager Wong. I told you to stop reading those novels. I said, and stepped back. Monica was still crying. David finally stood up. He walked to Monica, and I held my breath. Was he going to grab her wrist? Was he going to say something domineering? David just patted Monica's head gently. Monica, go to sleep. I'm tired too. Monica looked up at him, disappointed. That's it? Just pat my head? David nodded. That's it. Monica stomped her foot. You're not a domineering CEO at all. You're just a normal, boring man. I almost laughed out loud. This was the first time I'd heard someone call David Wilson boring. David didn't seem offended. He just smiled slightly. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Monica glared at him, then turned to me. And you? You're a terrible manager. You didn't help at all. I smiled professionally. I'm sorry, Miss Monica. I'll do better next time. Monica huffed and went upstairs. David looked at me, shaking his head. Manager Wong, you really need to stop influencing Monica with those novels. I said, but I didn't promise anything. The next few days were chaotic. Monica kept trying to make David act like a domineering CEO. She would create situations where David was supposed to react dramatically. But David always reacted normally. Monica was getting frustrated. One afternoon, Monica came to me. Manager Wong, I need your help. I looked at her professionally. How can I help, Miss Monica? Monica said, I need you to help me make David act like a real CEO. I hesitated. Miss Monica, I'm not sure that's appropriate. Monica grabbed my arm. Please. I just want to see the domineering CEO. From the novels. I looked at her pleading eyes. I couldn't refuse. Fine, I said. What do you want me to do? Monica smiled. Tomorrow night. I'll pretend to be in danger. You call David and tell him. I've been kidnapped. I was shocked. Kidnapped? Monica nodded. Yes. Then David will rush to save me. Like in the novels. I hesitated. Miss Monica. That's a very serious accusation. Monica pouted. Just do it. I'll pay you double. I thought about my bank account. Double salary sounded good. Fine, I said. But if David gets angry, I'm taking no responsibility. Monica nodded. Don't worry. Everything will be fine. The next night, I called David. Mr. Wilson, Miss Monica has been kidnapped. David's voice was calm. Kidnapped? By whom? I said, realizing I hadn't prepared a story. By unknown men. David was silent for a moment. Where are you? I said, realizing another problem. I didn't know where Monica was. I'm not sure. David sighed. Manager Wong. Are you pranking me? I hesitated. No, Mr. Wilson. Miss Monica really disappeared. David said, I'm coming home. Wait for me there. I hung up, feeling nervous. This was not going according to plan. 10 minutes later, David arrived. He looked around the villa. Where's Monica? I said, realizing I should have asked Monica where she was hiding. I don't know. David frowned. You don't know? I said, this was getting worse. Suddenly, we heard a scream from the basement. David and I rushed to the basement. Monica was tied to a chair. Struggling and screaming. David immediately untied her. Monica threw herself into his arms. David, you saved me. David looked at her, confused. Who tied you up? Monica froze. I don't know. David looked at the ropes. These are decorative ropes from the garden. Monica's face turned red. I tied myself up. David stared at her. Why? Monica lowered her head. I wanted you to save me. Like in the novels. David sighed deeply. Monica, you can't just do things like that. What if something really happened? Monica started crying. I'm sorry. I just wanted you to be a domineering CEO. David looked at me. Manager Wong. Did you know about this? I said, realizing I was in trouble. Miss Monica asked me to help. David looked at me disappointedly. Manager Wong, I expected better from you. I felt guilty. I'm sorry, Mr. Wilson. I won't do it again. David nodded. Good. Now, let's all go to sleep. Monica was still crying. David patted her head. Go to sleep, Monica. Everything will be fine tomorrow. Monica nodded and went to her room. David looked at me. Manager Wong. I need to talk to you. I followed David to his study. David sat down, looking serious. Manager Wong, I need to know something. I nodded. What is it, Mr. Wilson? David said, why do you want me? To be a domineering CEO? I was surprised. What? David said, Monica told me. You've been trying to make me act like a CEO from novels. Why? I hesitated. I just thought. David interrupted me. You thought I needed to be more like a novel character? I lowered my head. I'm sorry, Mr. Wilson. I won't do it again. David sighed. Manager Wong. Look at me. I looked up at him. David said, I'm not a novel character. I'm a real person. I have real work, real problems. I don't need to be dramatic. I just need to be myself. I nodded. I understand, Mr. Wilson. David smiled. Good. Now, there's something else I need to tell you. I looked at him curiously. What is it? David said, Monica isn't my white moonlight. I was shocked. What? David said, Monica is my younger sister. I stared at him, completely stunned. Your sister? David nodded. Yes. Our parents died when we were young. I raised her. She went abroad to study. I visited her every month. Because I'm her guardian. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. All this time, I thought Monica was David's lover. And I'd been trying to help them. act out romantic scenes. I felt so embarrassed. David continued. Monica knows this, but she's been reading those CEO novels and got confused. She started treating me like her boyfriend instead of her brother. I didn't know how to tell her to stop. I nodded slowly. I understand, Mr. Wilson. But I hesitated. I followed all of Monica's social media accounts. I studied her for 3 years. How did I not know she was your sister? David smiled. Because Monica uses a fake name online. For her privacy and safety. She never uses our real family name. She never posts anything about her family background. I made sure of that. I realized my mistake. I'd been researching Monica Rose for 3 years, not Monica Wilson. No wonder I thought she was David's white moonlight. I felt so embarrassed. David said, I'm telling you this because I trust you, Manager Wong. You've been a great employee. I appreciate your hard work. I felt touched. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. David smiled. Now, there's one more thing. I looked at him. What is it? David said, I know you've been copying my stock pics. I froze. How did you know? David chuckled. I'm a CEO, Manager Wong. I noticed these things. I said, feeling exposed. David continued. But I don't mind. Actually, I'm impressed. You've made good profits. I relaxed slightly. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. David said, in fact, I have a proposition for you. I looked at him curiously. What proposition? David said, I'm starting a new investment fund. I need someone I trust to manage it. Would you be interested? I was shocked. Me? Manage an investment fund? David nodded. Yes. You've proven yourself to be smart, capable, and trustworthy. I think you'd be perfect for the job. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This was a huge opportunity. I nodded enthusiastically. Yes, Mr. Wilson. I'd be honored. David smiled. Good. We'll discuss the details tomorrow. Now, go get some rest. I left the study, feeling excited. My life was about to change dramatically. The next morning, I woke up early. I went to the kitchen to prepare breakfast. Monica was already there, looking sleepy. Manager Wong, she said. Where's David? I said, Mr. Wilson is still sleeping. Monica nodded. I see. She sat down at the table. Manager Wong, can I ask you something? I nodded. Of course, Miss Monica. Monica said, why did David react so calmly last night? I hesitated. I'm not sure, Miss Monica. Monica sighed. He's not a domineering CEO at all. I'm starting to think those novels are wrong. I said, not knowing what to say. Monica continued. Maybe I should stop trying to make him something he's not. I nodded. That might be a good idea, Miss Monica. Monica looked at me. Manager Wong. Can I ask you another question? I nodded. Of course. Monica said, do you like David? I was surprised. What? Monica said, I've noticed. You've been working very hard for him. You care about him, don't you? I hesitated. I respect Mr. Wilson. He's a good employer. Monica smiled. That's not what I asked. Do you like him? I thought about it. Did I like David? I'd been working for him for 3 years. I knew his habits, his preferences, his moods. I cared about his well-being. But did I like him romantically? I wasn't sure. Monica was waiting for my answer. I said, I don't know, Miss Monica. Monica nodded. That's okay. You'll figure it out eventually. She stood up. I'm going to wake David up. I watched her leave. I thought about what she'd asked. Did I like David? David came downstairs a few minutes later. He looked refreshed. Good morning, Manager Wong, he said. Good morning, Mr. Wilson, I replied. Monica followed him, looking cheerful. Good morning, David, she said. David smiled. Good morning, Monica. We had breakfast together. The atmosphere was much more relaxed than before. Monica wasn't trying to make David act like a domineering CEO anymore. She was just being herself. After breakfast, David said, Manager Wong, can you come to my study? I followed him to the study. David sat down and took out some documents. Here, he said, handing me a folder. This is the proposal for the new investment fund. I opened the folder and started reading. The fund was focused on emerging technologies and startups. It was exactly what I was interested in. I looked up at David. This looks amazing, Mr. Wilson. David smiled. I'm glad you think so. He explained the details of the fund. I listened carefully, asking questions when needed. After an hour, David said, So, what do you think? Are you interested? I nodded. Yes, Mr. Wilson. I'm very interested. David smiled. Good. We'll start working on this next week. But first, there's something else we need to discuss. I looked at him curiously. What is it? David said, I've noticed. You've achieved financial freedom. I was surprised. How did you know? David smiled. I told you. I noticed these things. He continued. So, why are you still working for me? I thought about it. Why was I still working? I had enough money to retire. I could live comfortably for the rest of my life. But I didn't want to leave. I said, I enjoy working here, Mr. Wilson. David raised an eyebrow. Just that? I hesitated. And I care about you, Mr. Wilson. David looked at me intently. You care about me? I nodded. Yes. David was silent for a moment. Then he said, Manager Wong. I don't want to call you Manager Wong anymore. Can I call you Emily? I was surprised. What? David smiled. You've been working for me for 3 years. I think it's time we were on a first-name basis. I said, feeling flustered. You know my name? David chuckled. Of course I know your name. I sign your paychecks every month. Emily Wong. I felt my face heat up. Oh, right. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. David said, You can call me David. I hesitated. Are you sure, Mr. David? David nodded. Yes. I smiled. Thank you, David. David looked at me for a moment. Then he said, Emily. There's something I need to tell you. I looked at him curiously. What is it? David took a deep breath. Emily, I've been wanting to tell you this for a while. I like you. I stared at him, completely stunned. What? David said, I like you, Emily. Not just as an employee. As a woman. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. David Wilson, the CEO. Liked me? I said, I don't know what to say. David smiled. You don't have to say anything right now. I just wanted you to know. I looked at him, my heart racing. Did I like David? I thought about all the time we'd spent together. The way he trusted me. The way he cared about me. The way he made me feel safe. Yes, I realized. I did like David. I said, David. I like you too. David's eyes lit up. Really? I nodded. Yes. David smiled, looking happier than I'd ever seen him. That's great, Emily. He stood up and walked to me. He took my hands in his. Emily, would you like to go out with me? I nodded. Yes, David. I'd love to. David squeezed my hands gently. Thank you, Emily. This means a lot to me. I smiled. Thank you, David. We stood there for a moment, just looking at each other. Then David said, We should probably tell Monica. I laughed. Yes, we should. We walked out of the study together. Monica was in the living room, watching TV. She looked up when we entered. Her eyes went back and forth between us. Then she smiled. Finally, she said. I was confused. Finally? Monica nodded. I knew it. I knew you two liked each other. David and I looked at each other, surprised. Monica continued. I've been watching you two for months. The way you look at each other. The way you care about each other. It's so obvious. I said, but you thought I was David's mistress. Monica rolled her eyes. That was just jealousy. I was afraid David would choose you over me. But now I know you're not a threat. You're perfect for David. David laughed. Monica, you're something else. Monica smiled. I know. She stood up and hugged us both. I'm so happy for you two. Now David won't be so lonely anymore. I looked at David, smiling. He looked back at me, his eyes full of warmth. Monica pulled away. So, When's the wedding? David and I both laughed. Monica, we just started dating. Monica pouted. That's what they all say. But I know you two will get married soon. I looked at David. He was smiling at me. I realized Monica was right. We would get married someday. And it would be soon. The next few months were the happiest of my life. David and I started dating officially. Our first date was at the same beach, where I used to watch the sunset alone. David held my hand as we walked along the shore. The ocean breeze was cool, but his hand was warm. I looked at him, feeling grateful. How did I get so lucky? David squeezed my hand gently. What are you thinking about? I smiled. Just wondering how I got so lucky. David stopped and turned to face me. I'm the lucky one, Emily. He brushed a strand of hair from my face. I was going to fire you that first day. You know. I laughed. I remember. You looked so professional saying, illegal termination requires double severance pay. David chuckled. You were terrified. I nodded. I was. I thought you'd actually fire me. David smiled. I could never fire you. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. My heart skipped a beat. David. He leaned down and kissed me. It was my first real kiss. Soft, gentle, perfect. When we pulled apart, I was breathless. David smiled. I love you, Emily. I love you too, David. We continued walking along the beach, hand in hand, not saying anything. We didn't need to. Just being together was enough. Back at the villa, Monica was waiting for us. She took one look at our joined hands and squealed. Finally. I knew it. I laughed. Monica, we just started dating today. Monica rolled her eyes. I know. I've been waiting for this for months. She looked at David. You better treat her right. Or I'll write a novel about how you're a terrible CEO. David laughed. I'll treat her right, I promise. Monica nodded. Good. Now, tell me everything. How was the beach? Did he kiss you? Was it romantic? I felt my face heat up. Monica. Monica grinned. I'll take that as a yes. The next few weeks were wonderful. David and I went on more dates. Dinners at fancy restaurants. Movies at the theater. Picnics in the park. Every moment with him felt special. I started managing David's new investment fund. It was challenging but rewarding. I used my finance degree and my knowledge of David's investment style to make smart decisions. The fund performed exceptionally well. David was proud of me. He would come to my office every day, bringing me coffee and asking about my day. How's the fund doing today, Emily? I'd show him the reports. Up 3% this week. David would smile. That's amazing. You're doing such a great job. I felt so appreciated. Not just as an employee, but as a partner. Monica was always around, cheering us on. She would give us unsolicited relationship advice. David, you should buy her flowers more often. Emily, you should cook him dinner. David, you should take her on a vacation. We would just laugh and listen. Monica meant well, even if her advice came from CEO novels. 6 months later, David took me to a fancy restaurant. It was the same restaurant where we had our first date. The atmosphere was romantic, with soft music playing in the background. We had a wonderful dinner, talking about everything and nothing. After dessert, David took my hand. His palm was slightly sweaty. I looked at him, curious. David, are you okay? You seem nervous. David took a deep breath. Emily, he said. I looked at him. Yes, David. David took another deep breath. Emily, I love you. I smiled. I love you too, David. David continued. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I want to wake up next to you every morning. I want to grow old with you. Will you marry me? He took out a small box from his pocket. His hands were shaking slightly. He opened it, revealing a beautiful diamond ring. The diamond sparkled under the restaurant lights. I gasped. David. David looked at me nervously. Well, will you marry me? Tears filled my eyes. I couldn't believe this was happening. David Wilson, the man I'd worked for 3 years, the man I'd fallen in love with, was asking me to marry him. Yes, David. Yes, I'll marry you. David slipped the ring on my finger. It fit perfectly, as if it was made for me. He stood up and hugged me. I'm so happy, Emily. I hugged him back. Me too, David. The restaurant patrons applauded. We laughed, feeling shy but happy. We left the restaurant, hand in hand. The night air was cool, but my heart was warm. David drove us home, holding my hand the whole way. When we got home, Monica was waiting. She took one look at my hand and screamed, "You're engaged." Finally, she ran to us and hugged us both. I'm so happy for you two. David laughed. We're happy too, Monica. Monica said, "Let me see the ring." I showed her my hand. Monica gasped. It's beautiful. David, you have good taste. David smiled. I know. Monica said, so, when's the wedding? David and I looked at each other. David said, we haven't decided yet. Monica pouted. You need to decide soon. I want to be the maid of honor. I laughed. Of course you will be, Monica. Monica cheered. Yay! She started planning immediately. We should have a beach wedding. No, a garden wedding. No, a castle wedding. David and I looked at each other and laughed. Monica was already in full wedding planner mode. 3 months later, we got married. It was a beautiful wedding. We decided on a beach wedding. Just like our first date. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange. Monica was indeed the maid of honor. She looked beautiful in her lavender dress. Manager Smith was the best man. He looked nervous but happy. He kept adjusting his tie. Manager Wong, he whispered to me. I'm so nervous. I smiled. You'll do great, Manager Smith. The music started playing. I walked down the aisle, my father's arm in mine. David was waiting at the end, looking handsome in his tuxedo. His eyes lit up when he saw me. I felt my heart skip a beat. When I reached him, he took my hands in his. You look beautiful, Emily. Thank you, David. The ceremony was beautiful. David and I exchanged vows. I, Emily, take you, David, to be my husband, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till death do us part. David repeated his vows, his voice steady and sincere. I, David, take you, Emily, to be my wife, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till death do us part. You may now kiss the bride. David leaned down and kissed me. The crowd cheered. I felt tears streaming down my face. Happy tears. I was finally Mrs. Wilson. After the wedding, we went on our honeymoon. We traveled to Europe, visiting romantic cities. First stop was Paris, the city of love. We visited the Eiffel Tower at sunset. The view was breathtaking. David held me from behind as we watched the lights twinkle across the city. I love you, Emily, he whispered. I turned to face him. I love you too, David. We kissed under the Eiffel Tower, just like in the movies. Next we went to Venice. We took a gondola ride through the canals. The gondolier sang romantic Italian songs. David and I just held hands, enjoying the moment. The water was calm, the air was sweet, and I felt like I was in a dream. Is this real? I asked David. David smiled. It's real, Emily. We're really married. I pinched myself. Ouch! David laughed. Why did you do that? To make sure I'm not dreaming, I said. David kissed my forehead. You're not dreaming, Emily. This is our life now. After Venice, we went to Rome. We visited the Colosseum, the Vatican, and the Trevi Fountain. David told me to make a wish. I closed my eyes and made a wish. What did you wish for? David asked. I smiled. That's a secret. If I tell you, it won't come true. David laughed. Fine. But I'll tell you my wish. What is it? I wish for us to be happy forever. My heart melted. That's my wish too, I said. We spent 2 weeks in Europe, visiting more cities, making more memories. Every day with David felt like a gift. I never wanted it to end. When we came back, we settled into our new life. I continued managing the investment fund. The fund was doing better than ever. David was proud of me. He would bring me flowers every week. Just because, he would say. I would cook him dinner on weekends. Nothing fancy, just simple meals. But David loved them. This is the best dinner I've ever had, he would say. I would laugh. It's just pasta, David. David would smile. It's special because you made it. David continued running his company. He was still busy with meetings, but he made time for me. We would have lunch together every day, sometimes at the office, sometimes at a restaurant. It was our special time together. Monica went back to school to finish her degree. She was studying business, just like she always wanted. Every weekend, she would come home and tell us about her classes. I learned so much about marketing, finance, and management from her. She was actually really smart. Everything was perfect. I had a job I loved, a husband who adored me, and a sister-in-law who was like a little sister to me. 1 year later, Monica graduated. She came home with a diploma in business. David and I were so proud of her. We threw her a graduation party. All the villa staff came, even manager Smith. Monica was beaming. Thank you, David and Emily. She hugged us both. I couldn't have done this without you. David smiled. We're proud of you, Monica. Monica said, now that I've graduated, I want to start my own company. David smiled. That's great, Monica. What kind of company? Monica said, a publishing company. I want to publish CEO romance novels. David and I looked at each other and laughed. Monica, David said. You're obsessed with those novels. Monica pouted. But they're so romantic. And now I have a real-life CEO romance to write about. She looked at us. I'm going to write a novel about you too. I laughed. Monica, you can't write about us. Monica smiled. Watch me. And she did. For the next 6 months, Monica spent all her time writing. She would lock herself in her room, typing away on her laptop. Sometimes David and I would hear her laughing or crying as she wrote. How's the writing going? I would ask her. Monica would look up, her eyes tired but excited. It's going great. I'm at the part where David proposes. David would shake his head. I can't believe you're writing about us. Monica would grin. It's going to be a bestseller. You'll see. 6 months later, Monica published her first novel. It was called The CEO's House Manager. The cover featured a handsome CEO and a beautiful house manager. It looked exactly like David and me. Monica was so excited. It's out. It's finally out. She showed us the book. Look, it's on the bestseller list already. David and I were amazed. It was a bestseller. Within the first week, it had sold over 100,000 copies. David and I read it together. It was surprisingly good. Monica had captured our story perfectly. She even included the funny moments, like when Monica thought I was David's mistress, and when she tied herself up to fake a kidnapping. David laughed while reading it. This is actually pretty good, he said. I nodded. Yes, it is. She really has a talent for writing. Monica was so proud of herself. See? She said. I told you I could do it. David smiled. You did a great job, Monica. Monica beamed. Thank you. She looked at us. So, when are you going to have a baby? David and I looked at each other. David said, We're not in a rush, Monica. Monica pouted. But I want to be an aunt. I laughed. You will be, Monica. Just give us some time. Monica sighed. Fine. But I'm going to start writing the sequel. David and I laughed again. We knew she would. Life was good. We had each other, we had our careers. And we had Monica. What more could we ask for? 5 years later, we had a baby girl. We named her Emily Jr. She had David's eyes. And my smile. Monica was over the moon. She was the best aunt ever. She would come over every day, bringing toys and clothes for Emily Jr. She would read her CEO romance novels. Even though Emily Jr. was just a baby. This is how you find a CEO husband, Emily Jr. Monica would say. David and I would just laugh. David was a wonderful father. He was patient, caring, and loving. He would wake up in the middle of the night to feed Emily Jr. He would change her diapers without complaining. He would sing her to sleep. Every night, I would watch them together, my heart full of love. I was a happy mother. I had everything I ever wanted. One day, Monica came to visit. She brought her new novel. It was called The CEO's Daughter. It was about Emily Jr. David and I read it together. It was another bestseller. Monica had written a beautiful story about our daughter growing up and finding her own CEO husband. David smiled. She's really talented, isn't she? I nodded. Yes, she is. Monica beamed. I'm going to write a whole series. David and I laughed. We knew she would. Life was perfect. We had love, family, and happiness. And it all started with a job interview for a house manager position. I never thought my life would turn out this way, but I was glad it did. I had David, I had Emily Jr., and I had Monica. What more could a girl ask for? The end.